Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to Developer Maroof. In today's lesson, we'll learn about objects in JavaScript. Objects let us store related data and functions together, which is essential for organizing our code. We'll learn about object literals, properties, methods, and this keyword. Objects are everywhere in JavaScript, so understanding them is crucial. Objects helps us model real-world things in our code, making it more organized and easier to work with. Let's start coding. I've already created our index.html. Let's dive into our JavaScript. So let's start by creating objects using our object literals. So object literals use curly braces. Let me show you that. Object literals, let's say const person equals to our curly braces. So these are the object literals. Let's add our properties. Let's say name. What is the name? Name is Maroof, comma age. Age is 24, comma city. City is Hyderabad, and our comma. And save this. So this is a simple object with three properties: name, age, and city. Let me show you that inside our log. You can see here is our object with three properties. Now let's create more complex object with different data types. Let's say const student equals to curly braces. Inside that we can add our name property with a string value. Let's say Ahmad, comma our age, which is 22, comma is active. Let's say true, which is boolean. Let's say grades. Inside grades we can add array 85, 92, 78, comma address. Let's add our another object. Inside we can have other properties. Let's have a string 123 main street. Let's add comma and our city. Let's say Lahore, comma. So this is the object which contain different data types, including our arrays and our another object, which we can say nested object, because it is an object inside an object. So it is called nested object. Let's log this. Student, you can see we have our object here, dress, grades, is active, name, age, all of our properties. So that is how we create our objects. Let's comment these consoles. And let me show you how to access properties in objects. Let's say accessing properties. Inside that we can access our object properties with dot notation, bracket notation. Let me show you first our dot notation. Let's say dot notation. Let's add our log here. Let's access our name from our person object. So we can do that by typing person, which is our object, and dot name. If we save this, we will have Maroof, because by this dot we are accessing our name property from this person object, which is this one. So this is how you can access our properties from our objects with dot notation. Let me show you another example. Let's say log. If we want to access any other property, let's say age, let's have person dot age and save. You can see we have our 24 value, which is here. This value is assigned to this property, so we are getting that property from our object with our dot notation. So this is how you can access our properties values from our objects. Let me show you our bracket notation. With that we can also access our properties. Let's add a log. If we want to access our name from person, we can do that. First let's comment these out, and let's have person, our array bracket, and our strings, and add name. So this is how you can access our name property from our person object with the bracket notation. You can see in the console we have Maroof, which is this one. If we want to access age, you can just type here age, then we got 24. So this is how we can access our properties with bracket notation. Let's comment this out. If you want, you can also access our properties with variables as well. Let's see bracket notation with variables, and let's create our variable. Let's say property name equals to, let's say, city, because we want to access this property. Or if we want, we can access this property as well, because these both are city. And let's add a log. Inside that we can add person, and inside our brackets we can add our variable, which is equals to city. So we are getting Hyderabad. You can see we are getting this one because we are accessing our property from person object. So this is person object and this is the city. So it is the same thing if we are storing this strings and plus our key, or you can say property. So this is equals to this, and we are accessing this inside our bracket notation. So this is how we can access with our variables. Let's comment these out. And let me show you how we can access our nested properties, which are these ones. These are inside our object and inside our nested object. So we can access them with our dot notation. Let's say accessing nested properties, and let's add our console.log. Let's add student, which is our object, dot inside our student object we have address property, which is this one. And if we want to access this street or city, let's say we are accessing street, so we again put dot because the street is inside our address object. Let's say street, and if we save this, we have our 123 main street, which is this one. So that is how you can access our nested properties. Let's add one more. Let's say student. If we want to access with dot notation our arrays, let's say grades, which are these ones, we can also access that as well. You can see we have our arrays. If you want to access any of these values, let's say we are accessing 92, which is this one, we can add our array bracket and our index. Let's say 1. We are having 92 now because 92 is at the index 1. So that's how you can access nested properties. Let's comment these out. And let me show you how we can modify them or we can add properties. So let's add modifying and adding properties. So objects are mutable, which means we can change them after creation. Let me show you how. Let's modify an existing property. Let's say person, which is our object, and let's modify our age property. So to modify, you just need to make it equals to any value you want to change it to. Let's say 23, because before we have 24. Now we have modified this age property inside our object and made it 23. So if we log this now, you can see now age is 23 because we have modified it right here. Before it was 24. So this is how you can modify our properties. Now let's add a new property. You can do it like this. Let's say modify, or let's directly say person. And to add any property, you just need to type that property. Like say we don't have email property inside our person because we have only 3 properties, name, age, and city. If we want to add any other property, we can type dot email. Let's say we are adding email, and let's equals to developer or Maruf at developer.maruf.com. So this is my email, which I've added to this person object. Now if we log this, let's say log person and save this, you can see we have our email property added inside our object, which we just added right here. Before, we don't have any email property here. So that's how you can add any property. If you want to add with our bracket notation, you can do that as well. Let's say person. If I want to add any other property, let's say I want to add phone. Let's say phone, this is our property, and let's say equals to 123 456 789, and save this, and let's add a log person. Now you can see we have our phone property inside that as well. So this is how you can add properties with bracket notation or dot notation. If you want, you can modify our nested properties as well, which are these ones. Let's say student dot address dot city, and let's modify it to Islamabad. And let's log this, our student, save this, and you can see we have modified our city to Islamabad, but before that we have city equals to Lahore. We have modified it with Islamabad. So this is how you can modify nested properties as well, or objects. So let's comment these out. And now let me show you object methods, or we can say the function inside our objects are called methods. So that's why we say object methods here. Let's say object methods. Inside that, let's create a calculator object. Inside that, we have property num1 colon 10 comma num2 colon 5, and let's add a method. Let's add a method, add, and our function. So this add is equals to function, like num2 is equals to this number. Our function here. Let's return this dot num1. We are getting this value in here. I'll tell you about this property in our next concepts, but for now let's keep it that way. Plus this dot num2, and let's add our another method. Let's say subtract colon function. Inside that, let's return this dot num1 minus this dot num2 semicolon our comma, and save it. So let's add a log. Let's access these add and subtract. Let's say calculator object dot add. We should have our parentheses because this is a function. You can see here add value is function, so we have to put it like that, the parenthesis after this add property. And if we save this, we will have our value here 15 because we are returning num1 plus num2, which is 10 plus 5. So this function is equals to our return 15, and it will go here. The value of add will be 15. You can see. And let's log our subtract method. Let's say calculator dot subtract parenthesis save. We have 5 because we are returning num1 minus num2. So 10 minus 5 is 5, and it is returning 5 to this, and we are getting it here. So this is the object with our methods. So this is the old way of writing a function or method. Let me show you the shorter syntax for methods, which was introduced in ES6, ECMAScript 6. Let me show you that as well. Let's say method shorthand in ES6. Let's say const car equals to object. Inside that, let's add a brand. Brand is Toyota, comma, our model. Let's say Camry. Let's add a year is 2020. Let's add our method. Let's say get info, and we can add it like this directly without our function or our colon, and we just return. Let's add backticks and $sign this dot our brand and our model and the year and our comma. Let's add another method. Let's say start, and our method, let's return car is starting. Let's save this. Let's add a log. First, let's get our get info from car object. Let's say get info, our parenthesis, and log our start method. Save this. You can see we are having our message Toyota Camry 2020 from here because it is returning our brand, which is this, our model, which is this, and our year, which is this. And this method is printing car is starting, which you can see here. So you can see this is much cleaner and shorter syntax than this one. Now let me tell you about this keyword. First, let's comment these out, and let's add a comment here. This keyword. So the this keyword refers to the current object, which you can see here. This dot brand, which is referring this to our current object, and dot brand is here. That's why we are getting this Toyota. Let me show you another example. Let's say user equals to object. Let's add name property, Sarah, comma, age, 325, greet method. Inside that, we can return our backticks. Salam alaikum, I am this dot name. So this is referring to our current object, which is this one. User is our current object, so this is a user. You can put it like this, but because we are inside our object, we can't do that. We can do this. So inside this object, we have our name property, and we are accessing Sarah here. I hope you get it. And let's add I am this dot age, years old, and let's update our age. Let's add any parameter here. You can also pass any parameter. If you don't have any idea what is the parameter, you can check our previous lessons where we have learned about functions. Let's add this dot age equals to new age, which will come from our parameters. Return our age updated to this dot age. Receive this, and let's add a log. Let's say user dot greet function or method. Save this. We are having Assalamu alaikum, I am Sarah. So Sarah is coming from here to here, and I am 25 years old. So 25 is coming from here to here. And let's add another log and say user dot update age. Right now age updated to undefined because we haven't passed any data here, so that's why it is returning this dot age is equals to undefined, because this dot age is equals to new age here, but we haven't passed any age here. That's why we are getting undefined, because this age is not defined yet. So let's define it by 26. Now we are having age updated to 26, and let's see our log now, our user object. Save this. So you can see the age is updated to 26 because we have updated right here. Before that, we have our age 25. You can see here. So that's it for this keyword. Let's comment this out. So it is very simple. This allows methods to access and modify the object's own property. You just have seen right here. Now let me show you an example of our nested object. I've already shown you our nested objects here, but let me show you more complex nested object to make you understand much more clear. Let's say nested objects, and let's add our const company equals to our object. Let's add name. Let's say tech corp, comma, location. Let's add object our address. Let's add any address. Let's say 456 Tech Street, comma, city. Let's add Karachi, our country, Pakistan, comma, our employees, our object. Inside that we can have our total employees, which are 50, our department. Let's say departments is also an object. Let's say engineering 20, sales 15, let's say marketing 15. Let's add a comma and save this. And you can see these are our nested objects. Location is inside our company object. Inside our company object we have another object which is employees. Inside that employees object we have our department object. So this is how you nest our objects. To access them you can add a log. Let's say we want to access our name first. Let's say company.name. Save this. We have tech corp. Let's access our city from location. Let's say company.location.city. Save this. We have Karachi. Here is Karachi. If we want to get any department, let's say log company.employees.departments.engineering. We can have 20 departments. You can see here. So this is how you can access our nested objects. Let's comment this out. And let me show you our object methods which are built in. Let's say built in. Okay, so JavaScript provides built-in methods for working with objects. Let me show you that built-in methods. Let's add a product object. Product equals to, inside that name, let's say laptop. Let's comma our price. Let's say 1000. Category. Add electronics. And let's save this. So from our built-in object method, we can get our keys, our values, our key value pairs, and we can do many things. Let me show you some. Let's start with Object.keys. Let's say Object.keys. This is the method. What it will do is it will get all our keys from that object. Let me show you how. Let's say const keys equals to our object built-in method, and inside that built-in method we have a property called keys. So which object keys we want, we can add it right here. Let's add our object product to get our keys from our product objects. Now all the keys have stored inside here. So keys are this: name, price, category. We can say properties or keys. Let's add a log. Inside that, let's call our keys variable where we stored our keys. In the console you can see name, price, category, which are our keys here, or you can say properties. So this is how with the built-in method you can get keys. Let me show you how we can get values. Let's say Object.values. It will get all our values. Let's add our values inside this. Let's say Object.values. This is another method. I want to get our values from our product object. Let's log this. Values. You can see we are having our values: laptop, 1000, and electronics, which are these ones. These are the values. These are the keys or properties, you can say. Now if we want to get both key value pairs, so these are the pair, this is the one pair, this is the second pair of key and values, so we can get that as well with our entries method from our Object.entries. What it will do is it will get all key value pairs. Let's add entries is equals to Object.entries and our product object, and let's log this entries. Now you can see we have our key value pairs inside our arrays, because this will store our key value pairs inside arrays and return us our key on 0 index, our value on 1 index. If you want, you can get any of it. Let's say array and 0, so we get our name, laptop, because it is on our 0 index. Let's keep it that way. You can see this is our nested arrays inside our array. This is how we can get our key value pairs. If you want to check if property exists or not, you can also do that with our Object.hasOwnProperty method. This will check if property exists or not. Let's add a log and let's check inside our product. We have hasOwnProperty method to check. So what do we want to check? We want to check name. If this exists or not, it is returning true because we have name property inside our product object. If we want to check, let's say stock property, it will say false because there is no property named stock. So that's why it is returning false, because this stock property does not exist in our current object. So these were some object method which are built in JavaScript. There are tons of more. You can try it on your own. Let's comment this out now. And let me show you object with arrays. Let's add const teacher equals to object. So inside our object, we can add our arrays, or inside our arrays, we can also contain any objects. Let me show you that. Con name, let's say Mr. Khan, comma, subjects. Let's make subjects as an array, math, science, our English, comma. Let's add our objects inside our arrays. What we can do is we can add students, colon, our array. So inside our array we can have multiple objects. Let's say object name, say Oli, comma, our grade. So Ali's grade is 85, comma, we can add another object of name, Sarah, Ahmad, save as. So you can see we can have arrays inside our object, or objects inside our arrays. Let's log these. Let's log our object teacher. This is our object. If we want to access any of our subject, we can do that with teacher.subject, which is this one. Inside that, I want to access maths. Let's add our index 0, because math is at our 0 index. You can see here. Now if I want to access this student, this Ali grade, we can say student and our 0 index to access this one. Let's add a log. Let's say teacher.student and our 0. You can see we are having our student Ali at 0 index. If we want to access any property here inside that object, we can do that. Let's say we want to get name of this student. Let's just add a dot name, and we are having our name here. So this is how we can work with arrays inside our objects. Let's comment this out, and let me show you our final concept, which is computed properties. So these are the properties which let us use variables as property names. Let me show you how. Let's add any variable here. Key1 equals to, let's say, first name. And let's add our second variable, key2, last name. So these are the keys we will use inside our object. These are called computed properties. Let's add our person object here, and we can use our computed properties here. Let's add a array bracket and key1. So here we will get first name, because key1 is equals to first name. So this is how we can get our properties from a variable. Let's make it equals to Maruf, comma, our second key, key2, and let's add Ali and comma. So we are getting error because this is a const variable and we have assigned this person. I think the person is already defined. You can see we have person here, so we cannot name variables the same to this const variable, so we can change it to 1 to make it unique, because const requires unique names. Let's add a log, and let's have our person1. Save this. We are having our first name with Maruf. So this first name is coming from here to here. So this is how you can use computed properties. If you want to access this first name, you can just add a log person1.firstname, and we will get this Maruf here. You can see. So I hope you get this one as well. So that's it for today's lesson. You just learned about objects in JavaScript, its properties, methods, and object literals. So objects lets us organize related data and functions together, making our code more structured and easier to manage. The this keyword lets methods access and modify the object's property. So practice creating your own objects and methods. Try modeling real-world things like we did in the examples. In the next lesson, we'll learn about destructuring and spread REST operators. These are powerful features that make working with objects and arrays even easier. If this helped you, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone learning JavaScript. Jazakallah khair for watching. Allah Hafiz.